Morning.
Morning.
Jen, I too enjoy just watching children play. Taking my son and my daughter to parks and just watching them like frolic around and explore. And there is a lot of joy in witnessing that. And I look forward to doing it. I don't know of a lot of people that do, unfortunately. I talk to my colleagues at work and they don't have that going on. They like to stay at home a lot and with the kids and stuff, which is fun. But you know, I like to go out and explore the world with them. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. This is a good opportunity to just take some time and reflect upon where we're at on our spiritual path, the Unity Church, when we come here each week. I think it's invaluable to be given that opportunity. It's a blessing, and I am grateful for that. That's one of the things that I thought of as the church and my mighty companions and my friends. You know, the sons of God, the daughters of God. That have recognized who they really are as that identity. Making that connection is probably, to me, the most meaningful thing in my life. And I can make that connection with anyone. Make it with, you know, my family, you know, the children, make it with patients I take care of, make it here. And it's just all about making that connection, shining the light on others and having the response come back in some way, allowing it come back. So giving and receiving are one. If I'm giving out light, love and peace, I'm going to receive it back. Otherwise, I'm not really giving it out. You know, it's not really happening. So when I receive it back, I got to be willing to accept that as well. It's going to come back to me in some way. Maybe not in ways that are expected. Often they're not. They're surprises. God has a surprise for us, a miracle, a shift. Maybe it's just a subtle thing, like a quiet space opens up for you in the morning. You know, before you get on with your day, you just wake up with this quiet space, and you make a connection with some reading, some literature. Or you go for a walk, you make a connection with the dog. You just feel this peace, this oneness. Maybe you run into someone at the store, and there's this subtle connections with people. We're looking for those, exploring what's being said to us from Spirit. Very important. And the ways that we go about discovering who we really are can vary from individual to individual, from church to church, from all sorts of different cultures. And there's not really any one way to recognize who you really are, to experience that love. So it's really cool that we get to celebrate all the different traditions and paths to God. You know, meditation, different songs, chanting, Reiki, readings, all sorts of different healings, mediumship. You know, there's so many different paths, and that's why I got into the interfaith ministry. But there's one thing to like really say about the Christian path and the Eastern paths. I think it's important to make some distinctions with those things, at least in the majority of them. As I experience the Course in Miracles and, you know, some of Unity Church and Christianity, it's more of like an affirmation of who I really am. It's a declaration that I am love, that I am peace, that I am the Christ. You know, you're making those declarations. You're like claiming your true self in a way. Okay, that's what Jesus is calling us to do. Now, if you go into some of the Eastern teachings, you're more recognizing what's in the way of that. You're realizing that you're seeking for the truth is actually a block. And the self that wants to understand things and wants to acquire knowledge and wisdom of the spiritual path is actually a block. So there's this, it seems like a contradiction sometimes. And if you're studying Christianity, if you're studying the Eastern paths, there seems to be some contrast in those, but they're really not. They end up in the same place. Okay, so whatever we're getting into doing in our path, remember, it's all being used for the higher good, for us to enter into that union with our Creator. There's times where the teachings of Christianity, or even the Course in Miracles, I just kind of reached like a limitation of my learning with it. So I step away and I get into things like Zen, like this book, The Way of Zen. and Taoism and Buddhism, and but it's really the same thing. I'm going to read just a little part here from Alan Watts. It's all the same God. It's just one God. All right. Different ways, and some things speak to you differently at different times, different seasons. So it says, men are afraid to forget their own minds, fearing to fall through the void with nothing on to which they can cling. They do not know that the void is not really the void, but the realm of the Dharma. It cannot be looked for or sought, comprehended by wisdom or knowledge, explained in words, contacted materially, or reached by meritorious achievement. I think I'm saying that right. So like, achieving certain things, merits. So it's like saying that, all my doings with my mind to try to experience love aren't going to work. I need to surrender. I need to let go of my techniques, my paths, all that. And this thing is, I need to sit quietly and do nothing. That's what this this passage is. It says right here, sitting quietly, doing nothing. So that's the path of the meditation. You just stop doing, and whatever's rising in the moment, you allow to be there. You're not grasping for God, grasping for the future, a future moment where you're going to be more satisfied, more alive, more connected to people. You're going to get that better job. All that workings is part of the mind. So the mind, the egoic mind, isn't the mind that we're going to use to experience awakening. But often it's all we have to work with, because that's what we're aware of, is that egoic mind. And we're using it to try to experience love. And it becomes kind of a burden, a little a squirrel. And it keeps on going, changing dreams all the time. It'll say, well, do this, and then you do it, and then you have some relief for a minute, and then you get restless again. It's like it's never satisfied. So that's why, in the Eastern teaching, it's about stopping that, because it's never really going to give you what you want. So then we look at Christianity. Okay, we look at the Course in Miracles, we look at Jesus, and we look at some of the language that's used in the Course, the declaration that I am the child of God. A lot of the lessons are statements about who you really are. I'm the light of the world. I can see peace instead of this. I'm never upset for the reason I think. A lot of them are declarations telling you about your reality. So it's words. These words are like being translated into an experience of spirit food. So you use the words. Both work, and neither should be disregarded. If that's the goal of this, is to become more and more open-minded. I think of unity, interfaith, more and more open-minded of ways to discover who you really are. However, whatever's working for you, if it's psychology, poetry, being an artist, any of that stuff, it's about experiencing that peace and love inside. And I'm going to read just like a poetic thing from the Course. I mean, this is some really just beautiful language, at least to me. It just speaks to my heart. It's called The Forgotten Song. I may have read it here before. I think even World Day of Prayer, I may have came up here and read it. But I'm just going to read a little passage from that. And this is kind of that declaration thing of the statement of who I really am, and like putting the intention out there that I want to know who I really am. So, beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, past everything you see and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle. And all the circle fills with light before your eyes. The edges of the circle disappear, and what is in it is no longer contained at all. The light expands and covers everything, extending to infinity, forever, shining, and with no break or limit anywhere. Within it is everything is joined in perfect continuity. Nor is it possible to imagine that anything could be outside. And there is nowhere that the light is not. It's a statement of imagine the light is everywhere. It's all around you. And I see that. I can do this and imagine this, everything I'm seeing is full of light. And we can do that too. We can stop, we can sit quietly and do that. And imagine it. And if that's not working, then we quit seeking it and see what happens. Practice them both and see what happens to you, to your mind, to your consciousness. And then it goes on to say here, this is the vision of the Son of God, the daughter of God, whom you would know well. Here is the sight of him who knows the Father. Here is the memory of what you are, a part of this, within all of it within, and joined to all as surely as all is joined in you. Accept the vision that can show you this and not the body. You know the ancient song and you know it well. Nothing will ever be as dear to you as this ancient hymn of love the Son of God sings to his Father still. It's true. There's nothing more dear to you than that experience. However you go about experiencing it, doesn't matter. What matters is that you're going in that direction, that you're conscious of it, and that you have flashes of light and peace. You have holy instances. You have moments of touching nirvana. You know, it's all about God being everywhere. And no matter what path you take to discover that, doesn't matter. And getting out of comparing yourself with other people and saying, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. Some may seem, at least to me, to be a little quicker than others. All right. If I'm not doing a whole lot about my life and I continue to act out on behaviors and I don't change anything with my sleeping patterns, my diet, my mental health, I don't take any practices out. Maybe I do drugs, I drink a lot, all those things. I have a really horrible lifestyle. That could lead me there too, because eventually I'm going to have some bottom with that, perhaps, and I'm going to wake up. Or I can become conscious with it and I can practice. I can do the lessons in the course. I can do the Eightfold Path in Buddhism. I can sit and just do nothing, and just God show me, it's all going to lead to the same place. The same place is within yourself, and it's now. We're ultimately all at home right now in this moment with God and with each other. And that brings me great relief in knowing that. And that's sometimes my practice. I do a little guided imagery with that and imagining I'm already home with God. And sometimes I experience great results from that. And then I'll extend it out and I'll connect with others. Like my friend recently that suffered a great tragedy. I'll connect with him and surround him with light. Connect with other people that I've been thinking about in my mind, coworkers, friends, family, putting that out there. And then, being willing to do whatever is needed by making that intention. So if I make that intention and then all of a sudden I get a phone call from them, or I'm called to go out and frolic at the park with my kids, my son comes up, hey, let's go to the park. That may be part of that intention because I might run into one of those people there. So just following that all the time, always following spirit and where it's leading me, and being grateful for that, being given that opportunity. So that's all I have for you. This has been just a delightful service, and I thank you for everything you guys do for Unity.